Hello everybody, my name is Siddharth and this video is brought to you by Asha Akansha Foundation. In this video, I will be discussing the knapsack problem. It is one of the most important problems in the ARDA course, and it is a very good problem to show the power of DPs. So in this video, first of all, I will be discussing what is the knapsack problem. Then I will be discussing the greedy approach and why it does not work. Then I will be discussing the actual how to solve the knapsack problem using DP. I will be briefly going over the proof as well as I will be briefly explaining the time complexity of the algorithm. So let's get started. So what is the knapsack problem? In a knapsack problem, we are given n items, n number of items. Each item has a weight wi, ith item has a weight wi, and it has a value vi. And suppose that we are given a bag of size capital W. Now these are some constraints that capital W is greater than 0, wi and vi are both greater than 0. Now the main problem is, our goal is to fill the, now first of all, the name of the bag of size capital W is knapsack. So now our goal is to fill the knapsack with the items in such a way that we are able to get the maximum summation of values of all the items selected, as well as the weight of the knapsack should be minimum. That is, without overloading the knapsack, yeah, the sum of the weights of all the items should not exceed the size of the knapsack. That is, you can assume it to be the maximum weight the knapsack can carry. So without overloading the knapsack, you have to fill the items with in the knapsack in such a way that their overall value is the maximum and the overall weight is the minimum. So that's the problem. Suppose that this is a table of items 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 5. This is the values of items and this is the weight of the items. And knapsack size is 11. Now, in this table, this column, the middle column is the value column and this is the weight column. Yeah, this thing in the slide is wrong. So now our problem, we have to solve the knapsack problem for this table. So in the optimal solution, we will take the item number 3 and 4, the sum of the weights, this is the weights, is 5 plus x is equal to 11. That is, we cannot carry any more item. We have completely filled the knapsack. And the sum of the values is 22 plus 18, which is 40. And uh, according to the rules of knapsack problem, while satisfying all the conditions, this is the maximum value of the items that you can select to satisfy the knapsack problem. And this is the optimal solution. That's why it will be called the optimal solution. So the one will be the greedy approach. I will be discussing the greedy approach now. Now, what is our goal? Our goal is to select the items in such a way that we select the item. Whenever we are selecting the item, it should have the maximum possible value and the minimum possible weight. That's the thing that we have to follow, right? Whenever we are filling up the knapsack, if we are filling up the knapsack, so if we want to minimize the weight, so in whichever item that we are filling in the bag, we have to take the minimum weighted item. And while following this, we also have to ensure that the overall weight value should also be the maximum. So this is the greedy thing that we have to follow. So in the end, the values of the item should be great, so it should be more, We have to increase the value of items, and we have to decrease the weight. So consider this ratio Vi upon Wi for each and every ith item. The greater the value of this ratio, it means that for a particular item, the value per unit weight of that particular item is very large, which implies that for any given item, it has for a single weight of each and every item, it has a very large amount of value. So this is the greedy ratio that we are considering. Now suppose we calculate this ratio for each and every item that we are given, and we sort all these items in the decreasing order of this ratio, and then we keep on selecting the items until sum of the weights of the selected items becomes greater than the weight of the knapsack. Then we can stop the loop. So that will be a greedy approach. Now let us discuss what will be the solution of greedy approach in this case. Now I will be discussing the why the greedy approach does not works in this case. So let us consider what is the solution of the this knapsack problem while following the greedy algorithm in this case. You will see while calculating the ratios that the items number 5, 2 and 1 will be selecting according to the greedy approach, and the sum of the values is 18 plus 28 plus 6 plus 1, which is equal to 35. This is the greedy solution, and this is obviously less than the optimal solution, which is equal to 40, and hence the greedy solution is not a correct solution for this case, is not a valid solution. Now we will be constructing our DP or dynamic programming solution. So like in the previous video, we just considered solving it using recursion. We created a recursive formula, and we kept on solving the problem for the smaller and smaller parts, and we used memoization as well. And in the end, our recursion plus memoization, it became the DP problem solution. And remember that your DP solution should always have a DP table, and your solution should be clear enough so that you can actually maintain a relation between filling any cell of the table to actually solving the solution, and which is the actual final solution of the overall problem in the DP table. Where is that particular solution stored? You should know these things. So first of all, the structure of the solution of the optimal solution should be, for the suppose that we are given a function, suppose this function of type, it stores it gives the optimal solution when we consider first I items and an knapsack of size different. Now there will be two cases. So the one, suppose the first case is that the ith item is not part of our optimal solution. That is, we are considering these items from right to left, and we are taking each and every item and considering two cases for that item. One can be that that particular item is not part of the optimal solution. That is, it is not included in the knapsack. Then whether this item is in the array or not, it doesn't makes any difference. We can just take opt I minus 1 is equal to opt I. Why? Because we are not taking this item, and hence the size of the knapsack is also not changing, and nothing else is changing, and the overall value of the summation is also not increasing. So this item doesn't really makes any difference, and hence we can just take opt I is equal to opt I minus 1. Now we will give a mathematical proof of why opt I is equal to opt I minus 1. So first of all, what is the guarantee that if opt I is not the optimal solution, then opt I minus 1 will be the optimal solution? First of all, you are assuming that opti is the optimal solution. Now, what is the guarantee that if ith item is not part of the optimal solution, then opti minus 1 will also be an optimal solution? What is the guarantee? Suppose that opti minus 1 is not the optimal solution. Suppose opti dash I minus 1 is the optimal solution for 1 to I minus 1 and for the weight W knapsack. Yeah, because when we are not considering ith item in the overall, while we are not selecting the ith item, the weight of the knapsack is also not reducing, and hence for the first 1 to I minus 1 items and the weight of the knapsack to be W, consider that outer dash I minus 1 is the optimal solution. Now outer dash I minus 1 should also be the optimal solution of 1 to I, or 1, 2, 3 up to ith element. Why? Because again the same logic is that we are not even including the ith item in the if we are not even selecting that item for the knapsack, and hence whether that item actually exists or not doesn't really makes any difference, and hence the opt dash I minus 1 is also an optimal solution for first I items, but we know that opt I is the optimal solution, which is a contradiction, and hence we can just simply say that opt dash I minus 1 is is a is simply equal to uptime minus 1. Why? Because we initially took that uptime minus 1 is different from opt dash I minus 1 according to the general format followed in the contradiction proofs. Now we discuss the first case. Now the second case is, suppose the ith item is part of the optimal solution. Now the thing that we have to consider, the thing that is different from the last video, is that if we include the ith item, that doesn't mean that we are going to reject the I minus 1th item. We can include the adjacent items in the knapsack, in the selection of the knapsack. But we cannot, but while including the ith item, we cannot simply just say that opt I just reduces to simply opt I minus 1. Why? Because you will notice that this opt-I was a solution for these first I items. Now the ith item is being considered, and you have to somehow connect it with the first I minus 1 items. But you will see that while the ith item is being considered, the size of the knapsack it reduces. So that just simply changes the problem. So you have to consider that case also. We need to pack as much value as possible in an knapsack of size W minus WI, and this is the overall case. So we just simply modify our main function, that is opt-I, and we introduce a new variable, new argument W. This is a new index, and our overall meaning of the function it changes to that opt-I comma W indicates the optimal solution considering first I items and a knapsack of size W. Now this is the meaning of this overall function. Now the two cases will, the first case will remain the same, that ith item is not part of the opt-I comma W because we are not including any item. The size of knapsack does not reduces. Opt-I comma W is equal to opt-I minus 1 comma W. It is simple. Now for the case 2, if you are including the ith item, now as you would have guessed that opt-I comma W, we turn it to opt-I minus 1 and W minus WI because the size of the knapsack reduces. Size of the knapsack reduces. Now, as we discussed, that this function returns the selection of items from the selection of items from the first I items in such a way that the it will contain the maximum possible value of the selection, and such that this W weight is not exceeded. This is the weight of the knapsack, and this value is equal to this plus vi. Why? Because we are considering the ith item as well. So this is the proof by induction. You can understand it by having a look at it. Now this is the recursive dynamic problem solution. So first of all, we take the nap I comma w. This is the function. We maintain a 2D matrix. This is a 2D matrix of size n w. That is, it has n rows and w columns. And again, it's any I comma j I comma jth element is the value that with it the value stored in the cell I m I comma j is the value returned by the function, is the value that the function nap I comma w I comma j should return. Now you will see first that whether this value at this particular place is valid or not. If it is an invalid value, then proceed with the dynamic problem solution. Otherwise, you can just simply say that the problem for this particular case has already been solved earlier, and you can just take that particular solution, and you will just not go into the if case in that if brackets in that case, and you will just retain the value simply. Otherwise, you will go here, you will carry out the algorithm, and you will then return the value. So this was a memoization that we discussed in the last video. So first of all, you if the current I is equal to 0, now you must remember that we numbered our elements from 1 to n. And yeah, whenever you are solving the problem, you must map your elements from 1 to n. Always reduce any problem or any real life problem or any other version of this knapsack problem to this thing that we are discussing, that is map it to from 1 to n. Now, if I is equal to 0, as we numbered our items from 1 to n, that is there is no item uh, of size 0, that is there is no item in m nab 0 comma w, and hence mi comma w is equal to 0, because we cannot select any item, and hence there is no value of selecting items. Now if now we did this, now the next thing is if this not does not happens, then we go here, and in this case we are given a certain wi. Wi is the weight of this particular item that we have 1 to ith items, and Wi is the weight of the last item. And suppose this Wi is greater than W, that is W is the weight of the knapsack that should not be exceeded. And this last item that we are considering, its weight itself is greater than the weight of the knapsack. Then in that case, we just store the nap I minus 1 comma W value here. This is another thing that we have to consider. Otherwise, we just take the recursive case that we constructed. That is mi comma w is equal to max nap I minus 1 comma w. This was the case 1 that we considered. Comma nap I minus 1 wi minus 1 wi minus w minus wi plus vi. This is the case 2. And we take the maximum of both because this is the summation of the items in this case, and this is the summation of items in this case, and we will consider the case which gives us the maximum summation, and we store it here, and this is the overall cases that we have to consider, and then we return mi comma w, and this is the recursive algorithm. Now what should you call with which values of I comma w you should call this function for to solve the overall problem. To solve the overall problem, the I should be equal to n and w should be equal to capital W. Now this is the iterative solution. It is written recursive here, but yeah, it is a mistake. Yeah, it should be iterative. Now the first you have maintained a matrix of n comma w. Now for w equal to 0 to w, if the value of I is equal to 0, that means that there is no item to consider because the minimum numbering of item is from 1. and hence you just store irrespective of the value of w, you just store uh, 0 in this case, in these cases, and this is the base case. uh, this much should be clear. Now, as you saw in the recursive case, that to find the value of any ith position, you have to first get the value of I minus 1 and w minus wi. That is, if suppose in, yeah, just take it as a matrix and see nothing else. Suppose that we are at this value at this cell, and its corresponding indices are I comma j, then you should get I minus 1, that is this row, which is a row a row earlier than the current row. Our earlier row was this and our earlier column was this, that is 2 comma 3. I minus 1 is 1 comma 3 cell, and the w minus wi thing, which means that we have to consider uh, this particular part, that is 1 comma 0, 1 comma 1 and 1 comma 2. These cells we have to have values of these cells, so that we can get the value of this. So we have to start, so we will be start filling the the matrix in this way. First we will fill the first row, then we will fill the second row, and in this way we will go from up to down and from left to right. And this, yeah, we will do this. After doing this, we just reverses I equal to 0 to n, and w equal to 0 to w. We just traverse this from up to down and left to right. We do the same thing that we did in the recursive case, and that is the solution. Yeah, we just, our final solution will be in the n comma w at a cell. We just return it, and this is the solution. Now this is a matrix that has already been filled. You can have a look at it, pause the video, have a look at it, uh, check all the values, keep a track of all the values, and you can see that this table has been filled in the correct way, and you will understand this problem pretty well. This set is the set of the items that are selected. Sorry, not the set of the items that are selected, but the set of the items from which we are taking the selection. This is the value of n. This is 0, which is no item. This is 1, that is first 1 items. 2, first 2 items. 3, first 3 items. 4, first 4 items. And this is value of w. Mn comma 2 to w equal to, yeah. Now suppose that we have to retrieve a solution. Then you will just start backtracking. For the n comma w case, you will just take the backtrack. You will just backtrack this overall answer. You will just first run the main algorithm once. You will fill up the matrix. Now, while in the backtracking scenario, you will first go to, suppose that you have a backtracking function. You call it for n comma w. Now, for this particular thing, if w, you will apply this small algorithm which we have discussed many times here, and you will just be able to find the next element which we actually considered while filling the array, filling the main matrix. So this is the backtracking, that is, if wi is greater than w, then we just take the element which is above the current cell. Otherwise we will take the see that whichever one gives us the maximum greater value, we go to that cell. That element must have been the element which was selected. That is, if we are supposed at this cell, suppose 2 comma 4, and what does it mean to be at this cell while backtracking? It means that while considering this particular selection, we selected the last element, that is 2. That is, for 2 comma 3 we selected 2 element. For suppose we were at this 4 comma 3 cell, then we selected the last element, that is 4, and the values stored in these cells of the matrices, these are the maximum values that will be returned by the nap I comma j. So this is the thing, and the runtime is the runtime of the problem is the runtime of filling over the entire matrix, which is order of n comma w. Why? Because for filling a single cell, The filling of a single cell can be done in order of one time. So therefore, this is order of n comma w, and this is a pseudo polynomial runtime. So that's all in the video. I hope you understood it. In the next video, we will be discussing the dynamic programming problem of sequence alignment. So thank you very much.